Are you loving someone as what your parents, from a family generational standpoint, says this is what it should be? The very moment you open the app, love, traveling, going around the world, it's just absolutely insane. Okay, so hey guys, this is Lights, Camera, Whatever. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about 2 episodes of the very, very popular show called At the Moment, right? I'm only going to introduce the drama where you can have the English subtitle. Only. I'm not going to hurt you like that. So let me repeat. The show is called, if you go on Netflix, it's called At the Moment. Now, I'm going to be going through each episode in detail from my view, from my perspectives, and how I feel about the show. I am not trying to critique the show. So, Season 1, Episode 1, the name of this episode is called The Reality Dating Show. The Reality Dating Show. Now, first I'm going to read the description for you. After a sweet encounter at an audition, Hsia Wei-ting, sorry if I messed that up, joins a reality show and finds herself caught up in a whirlwind of fame and scripted romances. So I got a couple points I want to cover today. It's called COVID versus love. What's the difference, real love versus virtual, and also the courage to be hated and to be or not to be yourself. So these are the points I'm going to talk about. Now, why do I have COVID versus love? I think that from that time when we had COVID, right, a lot of things changed. A lot of people changed. Organically, we will, right? It was an unprecedented pandemic. So in that situation, it kind of stretched us as far as our limitations, as far as who we are as a person, what we accept, and love. Now, for the love part, it strained a lot of people to the edge. And why I have COVID versus love as the first talking point, because a lot of people figured out that this is not their soulmate. I'm so sorry to say that. I know. I'm not trying to, break hearts here, but COVID versus love, COVID plus 1 is a clear TKO. We're not going to talk about the medical side. A lot of people, lost family, things like that. But this topic is COVID versus love. A lot of people from that aspect of that strained relationship realized this is not the one. And I think that COVID taught us a lot of valuable lessons in life about who we are and who we need to be. Because what COVID did, we realized that it kind of put a lot of people together in the same room, because we don't know where you are. Like if you're in China or you're in somewhere like Taiwan, the apartments are smaller than the big houses in the European and American places, locations. So in America, you could be in the same house, but be on a different side of the house. But in Taiwan, unless you're like a super, super rich person, if you are, congratulations, you're not going to be too far from the other person every day, all day, under the quarantine restrictions. So what it did was that it had to let you know you couldn't see your family, you couldn't go outside, you couldn't talk to people, you couldn't socialize. Life was literally turned upside down. So you're stuck with this person who's supposed to be your life partner, who's supposed to be your soulmate, whoever they are, and you are put to the test. And COVID made a lot of people realize this is not working, right? And so part of the show is that it's based in the COVID. Now, we're not going to talk about the details too much, but I'm going to talk about COVID versus love. So that point, and I think that with that situation, it shouldn't be that situation to teach you the lesson about your relationship, but it did. It strained a lot of people, but it also, on the positive note, brought a lot of people together. A lot of people got closer, connected, created bonds, created friendships, and that is what it should have done. But unfortunately, it separated a lot of people and destroyed a lot of relationships that are, I guess, unfixable, right? Now, the second point is called, what's the difference between real love versus virtual love? In the show, I can't talk too much about the detail because I don't want to spoil it too much, but I might say a little bit of something, so don't kill me. I'm sorry. The thing in the show is that, okay, guys, it's 2023. I mean, if you're, around my age, you don't know my age, and I won't tell you my age. Sorry for saying that. I don't want you to guess about it. But anyway, if you see my age and you think we're the same age, congratulations. But think about all of the reality dating TV shows we saw. Thousands. I don't know. I'm from the States. It all started with BET and MTV, right? That's what we watch. So you got real love versus virtual love. But at that time, when we were younger, like high school, middle school, we didn't have social media, right? We were not running outside to take selfies and to get likes. It was literally, we were living life. Like social media was outside with a ball in the daylight. But right now, as you see on my second point, what's the difference, real love versus virtual love? It's a very interesting concept. It's because, are you loving someone because of what you saw as a reference? Are you loving someone as what your parents, from a family generational standpoint, says this is what it should be? Because I think there's several factors that are motivating people to actually find love. One is your friends. They might be married already. They might be dating already. The second is social media. The moment that you open the app, the very moment you open the app, love, traveling, going around the world, it's just absolutely insane. So with that aspect, you were automatically gravitated to a concept of what love could possibly be. And so is that the real or is it virtual? The other one is the grandparents. Now, I understand grandparents. Yes, I know they want to have kids. Maybe they weren't the best parent. We all know that. It's always funny how grandparents are always better to their kids than they are to you, always like this. But the thing is that there's a generational pressure from the grandparents to have kids, and maybe you're just not ready to have kids. And they're just going to constantly, every Chinese New Year in Taiwan, so Chinese New Year, every Thanksgiving in the States, every Christmas, to say, hey, when is it time? And then you're just literally trying to, dive into this turkey, and they're just trying to, attack you with the pressure of how you're going to dictate how you're going to give birth to an actual child. So that's also, we're chasing something that maybe is kind of a time constraint. Maybe there's age. Maybe there's an age. Maybe your partner doesn't have a lot of time left. But the concept is it real? And the divorce rate in the United States and in Taiwan is exponentially rising because we're diving into situations we don't know what we're diving into. Normally, when you dive into the water, you can see the water. You can see under the water. But marriage, you're literally diving into this murky, dirty water that could be cleaned based on how you and your partner are. Now, why I say virtual is because in the show, it's a virtual dating, right? They're dating. They're dating for ratings. They are dating for ratings. It's not real love. But aren't we kind of doing that in real life? We're finding a partner from what we hope other people will perceive our relationship to be. So in reality, what's the difference between dating on a virtual TV show and dating in real life? You are going onto a show to find some people that you possibly could fall in love with. You are going out into the world to find some people you could possibly fall in love with. And from my understanding, most of the successful marriages out there are not online. And when it's not online, we question them. We say, hey, why didn't you post anything? And I noticed that some people are so eager and so rush and so they're just enthusiastic to post with their partner. And I feel like if you have to post it, maybe it's not that real. Maybe it is. Maybe you are in love. Congratulations, because it's rare today to find someone that you love organically without that time constraint from society. Societal pressure is suffocating. It is very suffocating. You got your best friend like when, you got your other, you got your grandparents coming at you. You got the age coming at you. When you're getting older, I guess here in Taiwan it's like a 32, 33 thing. They're like, okay, it's almost time. But I think that this is a human coming out of you, and this is for the women. I always think you should have the baby when you are ready. Yes, your partner might, be pressuring you, but you should have it when you're ready, not when society says it's ready. And why I say that is because the other question I want to ask you is that having a child without love it's wow. It's serious. So that's going to be the real love versus the virtual love. So you make the choice. Now, the third point I want to talk about is actually one of my favorite books. It's called The Courage to Be Liked, The Courage to Be Disliked. This is probably one, and it's by the Fumataki Koga Ichiro Kishimi. And please, like, if you're the author and I messed up the name, I'm so sorry. But I love your book. I really love your book. It really got me out of a hole, The Courage to Be Disliked. So for this point, why I talked about this, because in the show, one of the actors, like I said, I don't want to do a spoiler. He mentioned one line, right? To have the courage to be hated. Do you have the courage to be hated? Now, a lot of times, okay, I'm here in Taiwan. I've been here since 2009, right? So, I mean, I'm here. Like, I don't know, some people came and visited, but I'm actually here. I'm part of here. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm here in Taipei. A lot of times when I hang out with Taiwanese, they ask me a lot of questions like, oh, if I wear this, like, will it be good? Will it be nice? Will it be beautiful? If I say this, you know, will it be accepted? And I always say, hey, you know, bro or female, I say, look, if you generally think that it's a good thing, then you do that. But you won't know if it's a good thing unless you actually say it, express it, or deliver the message that you're trying to portray. But you have to have the courage to be hated. You have to have the courage to be disliked, because most of the times the people who are successful, they're doing things that organically people don't like until they accept it. Most of the time, majority of the time. Predominantly, most people are always in the beginning, they're considered to be crazy until they're not. Now, this is about love. So you have to be able to, if you think this, you know, a lot, come on, let's go back to high school, right? You know, back in high school, it was like, I mean, I'm a guy, so I'm gonna talk from my perspective. Your guy friends would be like, hey, what do you think about her? I'm like, if you like her, why are you asking me? What's the point? You like her, you're interested in her. And all the time, like, some people say, hey, like, Ray, what's your type? I said, I don't really have one. Because if you make a type, it's always like this, right? You go out, you have drinks, and it's like totally not your type, and now it's your type. So let's get away from types. Now, the point about that is, like, you have to have the courage to love who you want to love, not based on the reality TV show that we're actually living in. Because why I say it's a reality TV show is because you're asking for approval from someone who's not getting married. Your friend is not getting married. You are the one getting married. You are the one that's interested in this person and dating this person. So why do you need approval from society? So that's why I say, do you have the courage to be hated? If you don't have the courage to be hated, technically every decision in your life, every determination, every direction that you have, it has to be by someone else, right? They have to project it for you, right? Why? They're not living the life. They're not in your shoes. So if you don't have the courage to be hated, technically everything that you decide in life, people will project it, and they will do everything they need to get it how they want it. So the courage to be hated. If you don't have a courage, then it's going to be so many times you're just going to be with the wrong person. And so many times you're going to be, because it might be a girl or a guy that you really, really like, but just because your friend or your family, I mean, sometimes they do look out in your best interest, but how do you get to judge someone from a picture on Instagram or from a look from across the street? I mean, there's a lot of amazing people that I met. They were really, really terrible people the first time I met them. A lot of people. A lot. And I mean, dog face, just you thought you were going to die, but actually they were great people. We have to be careful, the listeners out there, for lights, camera, whatever. We got to be careful in judging people on first appearance. You might, so your cousin or whatever comes to you and say, hey, what do you think about this girl? She's probably dropping all her groceries out of the store. Okay, we got Walmart and whatever, Kroger's and Publix in the States. In Taiwan, they got like PX Mart, Trinlian here. They call it Trinlian. You see the girl coming out of the Trinlian or the guy coming out of the Trinlian, dropping, clumsy as ever, dropping all the groceries. You say, oh man, this guy's not the one. This woman's not the one, right? And so if you don't have the courage to like who you want to like, you will always be pushed by other people's perceptions, which is technically not living your life. Now, the last one is called to be or not to be yourself. This is a killer. You got to, it's kind of similar to the last point, but a little bit different, because that's more the courage to make your own decisions. But do you also have this one's called To Be or Not to Be Yourself. I made it that title is because you have to have a choice to be who you are. If you are not who you are, then let's go and say, who are you? Who are you if you are not yourself? You have to be yourself. So part of the show, in the end, I'm not going to go into details, but someone had to make a decision to say, hey, I really like this person. This is the person I want to be with, right? This is who I want. I'm not judging, or making decisions or making judgments based on other people's, opinions about my life. Because like I said, it says it's caught up in a whirlwind of fame and scripted romances. So this is the description for the first episode. Now, if you are not making a decision based on who you are as yourself, technically, isn't your relationship scripted? And if it's scripted, who wrote the script? That's a real killer. So think about this. Are you doing what you need to do to be yourself? And are you putting yourself in a situation that you are comfortable without, needing people's opinions? Because let me go back. It says the courage to be hated. That means that you got to do something that people might dislike. But the last one's called To Be or To Be Yourself. These are two different things. Are you going to make decisions that will lead you in the right direction? Now, the third point, because I know some people are probably like they're similar. The third point is like, okay, are you going to make some decisions that some people might hate? Two different things, right? And let me do a little recap. We're talking about the season 1, episode 1 of the show At the Moment. And the show is called The Reality Dating Show. So if you go back to Netflix, it's called The Reality Dating Show. So my first point, COVID versus love, strained a lot of people. Put a lot of people in a terrible situation and a beautiful situation. The second point, what's the difference between real love and virtual love? If you're out there just trying to be in a relationship just for Instagram likes or TikTok or whatever you're on, this relationship's not going to last. Trust me, this is 2023 and it could be 2030. Real love will prevail. If you're not in real love, it will die. This is a person you don't genuinely miss because you miss them, but then you got to think the other question is that do you miss them just because you're empty? Is it because there's a gap in your life? Or do you actually love them? That's another question. Is it real or is it virtual? The third one is the courage to be hated. And the last one is to be or to not be yourself. So these are some key points. So that's about the season 1, episode 1, the Reality Dating Show.